All right, everybody. So thank you so much for joining me here today on today's tips on the top 23 best home selling tips that I've learned in 23 years. And today's tip number 6, is called wholesaling, what you need to know. Now, right off the bat, homeowners may not necessarily know what wholesaling is, right? And I'm probably going to get quite a few dislikes and maybe even a few hateful comments in the section below. But that's okay, because you as a homeowner need to know. You see, the reality is if you're trying to sell your home fast for top dollar by owner, or even as an agent, sometimes these things can happen to your listed property. If you don't know what wholesaling is, then it can affect you, it can affect your client, and you need to know this as a homeowner who's trying to sell their property. So if you've got a pen, write this down. Tip number 1, what wholesaling is. Okay, now here's what wholesaling is, really in a nutshell. Wholesaling, or assignment of contract, right, is where a buyer gets your home under contract with the intent to resell the contract, okay, to buy your home, to somebody else for a profit. Now, they're not selling your home. They're selling the right to buy your home at a particular price and terms to somebody else. So for the sake of simple math, let's just keep it this way. Let's say you're trying to sell your home by owner at, $100,000. And I don't know, for whatever reason, you agree to sell it to, Joe Schmuckatelli for, 90,000, or for whatever the price value is, right? Then they turn around and sell it to somebody else for, $2,000 more, $5,000, whatever the variance is. Now, obviously, this happens many times in properties that are as is, that are repairable, that are properties that needing repair, right? These are in distressed properties, these types of offers, and it's not typically in a property that is a luxury home, or a good home, or a home that's in good condition. Typically, these wholesalers, people who do this sort of business, come to people like homeowners like yourself, who have homes that are in distress in some way. An estate sale, needs repairs, taxes, things of that nature. And they offer fast cash as is to buy your home. Now, as a homeowner, this sounds great. Well, you're like, gosh, I save realtor fees. They're going to pay all my closing costs. It's all cash, so there's no appraisals. And I'm going to be able to go ahead and get out of this without any problem. You're going to see a lot of this sort of activity from OfferPad and Zillow when they start buying homes. If you've not got that in your neighborhoods yet, you will soon. And essentially, it's the same concept. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this, so long as you know about it. That's the key. So long as you know what's going on, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm okay with it. It's the American way. People making arbitrage, right? Point number 2, there's no license requirement to do this. Okay, there's no license requirement as a realtor, as a broker myself, for me to go out and represent somebody, to represent their interests. I have to go through schooling and continuing education and pass a background test, make sure I'm not a felon. There's a bunch of steps I got to go through to represent somebody. However, for a wholesaler, somebody who's looking to buy a property and flip the paper, if you will, to sell the contract to somebody else, there's really no licensure required. They could have, just walked out of prison yesterday. There's really no law against somebody making a legal contract, right? So when you think about it, there's nothing wrong with it. But there is something you need to know. Okay, if you're doing business with somebody who's not licensed in any way, if they're just buying the home from you with the intent to resell it to somebody else, well, gosh, there's no recourse that you have. There's no board of realtors, no realtor boards, no code of ethics, no no board of contractors. There's nobody you can contact or call, really, that's going to listen. The Better Business Bureau is probably not going to be, they'll be sympathetic, but there's not much they can do other than going to attorneys in the courts. And that's when things start getting expensive. Third thing you need to know. There is, however, an advantage to working with a licensed agent or broker like myself or anybody else. There's a lot of brokers who do this, who purchase properties like this as is. Agents like myself, even in your neighborhood, wherever you may be, They can buy properties. They act as investors. They can pay no commissions, take it exactly the way it is, no appraisals. I mean, and they can do all of this with state contracts, and they can do this under state guidelines. So you have the ability to have some level of control. See, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with selling your property to an investor, because in certain properties and certain circumstances, that's the right thing to do, right? But if you're going to do this, you need to know who to deal with and what is going on. Listen, I'm probably going to get some hate mail down here. Boy, it's worth it though. Tell me, what kind of experiences have you had? I'd love to hear it. And as always, have a powerful sales day. Bye-bye.